Hey peeps, welcome back to Riven. In the last episode, well, a lot has happened. But this time, we're just gonna see, what else is there to do in Riven, because there's quite a lot. Turns out there was quite a bit that I missed around the boiler room section, apparently. We'll see what I missed there. I also missed quite a bit. There's also the secret passageway, which we finally got the password to. And I thought that monorail was going to take me back there, but no, it didn't. It took me somewhere else. So we're going to go to that spot now. Let's see, what we're going to find over there, and then we'll go from there. Okay? All right. Let's get to it. So, yeah. I got it open. How's everybody doing? Sneaky Sasquatch Saturday. I know it's been falling through quite a bit, but lately, it's been I had the build, I have every intention to do, Sneaky Sasquatch Saturday. That's a thing. That's a thing that I do on Saturday. And then I get to it, and I'm either tired, or something comes up that I'm not able to do it. Alright, my man. How you doing? But yeah, it feels like either I get tired or something pops up and I don't do it. In this case, this weekend, my family, all the way from Jersey and from the UK, just happened to visit, and I just wanted to see them. I really wanted to see them. So I put my major thinking cap on. Everybody had a good Palm Sunday here. I have some palm leaves that I've yet to weave up. I've been intending to do a basket every year for the past number of Palm Sundays that I've been doing, and I haven't done it yet. I finally will do it at some point. Maybe the Sunday's chill stream I'll finally do it. Again. Excuse me. I see where my tiredness is coming from. I also have my project as well. That's been keeping me busy. Had an interview yesterday and on last Wednesday. I've got a couple this week, so that's going to be great. Well, technically 3 actually. But anyway, had a lot of interviews. I think they'll go just fine. I think they will go just fine. Excuse me. I also woke up super early this morning because of those 2 people I'm interviewing later on this week. So if I'm not as peppy as I usually am, you know why. You know why. But yeah. Yeah, so Saturday, maybe it's just because I'm just struggling to figure out what else to do in the game besides the daily format stuff. I grew up watching my brother play games like Shenmue, so I'm not too unfamiliar with stuff like that. But I think it's just not my. I think maybe it's just not exactly my play style. So maybe that's why I'm not exactly able to. The game's not scratching my itch exactly. So, but there are some funny things that do come up in the game that I like doing. So I'm not giving up on it by any means. Plus, I mean, I am pretty close to completion. I just have to remember the long haul. I'm assuming this is the path. I think I just figured it out now. These are basically displaying each part of the island, I believe. Okay, yeah. This is just mapping out each part of the island. I think this one's like mapping out like all the islands in Riven. I think this is this island. Whew, pardon me. My mind's kind of going blank a little. Once I solve some puzzles, maybe it'll get things going, you know? Yeah, I'm feeling it now. You know how, like, you work really intensely and then it kind of hits you after a little bit? Yeah, it's happened to me now. This might be a short part. I apologize for that. But I definitely need to slow down. That's for sure. It is showing a door on this side, so I wonder. Come on, mouse. There we go. It's rotating it. There's no way to flip this around, is there? I'll figure it out eventually. But for right now, let's just keep going, shall we? Oh wait, I can come out this way. Yeah. Let's see. Is the elevator underwater? Or was this the one I used previously? Man, I am tired. I am so sorry. I should be back. I'll come back. That means what we were floating through this whole time was water. So we're going through like a tunnel of water right now. Yeah, so I have to retrace a little bit to get back to that spot. I think I'm figuring stuff out. I think this is just this place is like underground. Also, the other thing I wanted to check out was first, Catherine's cell, because I didn't rotate the camera the last time. So let's first do that. I think it was left here. You cannot rotate this one, so want to double check at least, because I know you rotate the other one, you can rotate this one. Okay. Then we'll go back to oh yeah, this is all catching up to me a little bit. Sorry. Then wait a second, what? Let's go with this. I don't think there was a button on that side, was there? No. Because it looks completely different. Let me double check something. No, I can't. I can't rotate that side. Okay, so let's go in and so that means that track up the stairs, up the elevator, and this track are completely different ones. I believe. Sorry, I will wake up eventually. It's just a little... I've kind of been running on coffee. And... very little sleep, I will say. I will come... But my mom will come back eventually. Sorry about that. My front door has somebody. And I think I know who it is. Oh yeah, by the way, one of my friends and longtime co-host back in the day has a birthday today. One of my longtime subscribers. Her name's Crow's Nest. So shout out to her. It's her birthday. Let me get back to you on that. Yeah, she is here. Maybe put her stuff in Mom's room for now. Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah. So my friend's birthday is today. So happy birthday to her. And but yeah. Yeah, so I'm not able to comment much. I mean, it's just... A lot has been going on. Let's just say that. Just a whole lot has been going on. At some point, I may talk about it more down the line, but right now, it's just... processing. That, and also, I am naturally not a morning person. Like, I had to wake up at, like... 6:30 in the morning, which is not my natural wake up time. I'm more of like 9 a.m. like an 8:30, 9 a.m. kind of girl. On the bright side, at least my foundation looks good. Like I had to buy a different foundation because the one that I had was a bit too yellow and a bit too pale. Because I've been going out in the sun more, like way more since last year. So, and the like my winter shade basically no longer became my winter shade. Like, I'm one of those people that, like, whose shade changes pretty dramatically with the seasons. So I have to kind of buy accordingly. So I'm kind of right now in that in-between stage where... In-between stage... Words. The in-between stage where I'm too dark for winter, but I'm too light for summer. So I really have to keep that in mind as I'm getting my makeup. It gets a little bit frustrating, but that's the way my face works. So there's some sort of switch that I have to find to, like, in here to turn off this vent, apparently. That's one thing I was kind of missing. That's bringing it down. I don't need that. Because I've already done this part. But there was something in here that I had to take care of. I don't know why I'm doing this, but anyway. Like... up here. It's somewhere it's somewhere up here. But I can't find where exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be quite a bit of retracing today, so if that's a little boring, I apologize. But I feel like there's quite a bit that I missed here. Ooh. Ooh, excuse me. Whew. Has a little bit of a jaw with a little bit of a crack, so if you happen to hear that while I'm yawning, I greatly apologize. I also went a little bit wonky after a dentist appointment, but I'm sure there might be some way to, like, bring it back to the right place. Again, I naturally open my jaw wide a little, so what do I do? So, how's everybody's week so far? Other than me sounding a little bit of a very sleepy mess. Oh yeah, there was like apparently, this is really interesting. So, apparently there was this woman, I think she was a mother of 3 kids. She got onto American Idol, and she was supposed to be in the finals. However, she announced right at, I think it was last night's performance apparently, I only learned this through my news app, that she announced on stage that this was her final performance and that she would be leaving the show. And apparently all the coaches were shocked, and they tried to convince her to stay on, because apparently this woman was scouted by the American Idol team to go for the show. However, she decided, even though she said, I'm probably going to regret leaving the show this early. However, ultimately, I miss my children, and if they were slightly older, I could justify it. But right now, my time is with them. Maybe this is a golden opportunity I'll never get again. Maybe my career's ends right here, but it doesn't matter at this point. My family's the most important thing right now. So she left the show. Even with a guaranteed final position. Which I know, for a parent, regardless of gender, it's very difficult to balance dreams, but more so the things that, like, you really want to do in your life. It could be hard. It could be hard to balance that kind of stuff. So I could tell from what she was describing, it was a very hard decision, especially kind of balancing between, how did the submarine get back there? What? Okay, I have to go back up there to see what happened. But anyway, it obviously was a very hard decision. It obviously was a very, very, very hard decision that she had to make. And yet, regardless, like, I respect the decision that she did make, because, like, I mean, it sounded like ultimately she missed her family and wanted to go back to them. And I also hope that, likewise, she is able to fulfill those dreams that she's always wanted, because she deserves that. She absolutely deserves that. So, if anything, I hope her leaving gives her way more opportunities. And considering the history of American Idol, especially in its more recent times, the probability is pretty good she's going to be doing just fine leaving the game now, because it seems like those who leave much earlier or don't go all the way through seem to do much better compared to those who win. I don't know what it is or why, but that seems to be the pattern that's been happening, is that those who decide not to continue on, or those who don't get chosen to continue on, they do way better. I think because at that point the pressure's off. Okay, so the submarine did go back. Okay, I was wondering what happened, because, like, it wasn't at the trapeze thing anymore. Now I know why, because it just basically went. Somehow it went all the way back home. I was wondering. But yeah, so I think because the pressure's off and they can just do whatever. Because with, like, American Idol, there's, like, a certain formula that you have to have. And there's some artists that just don't fit that formula. Maybe it's changed quite a bit since the hosts have changed, but for the most part, I feel like there was, like, a certain formula you had to fit. If you didn't fit that, then it probably wasn't going to work. Exactly. That might be another thing. Like, they have that more because they stayed behind, because, like, they didn't stay all the way through. There's, like, more curiosity about, like, if they were able to stay all the way, what would they have done? I mean, to clarify, it doesn't mean like the winners don't do that well. I mean, they do. I mean, like Kelly Clarkson, Fantasia Barrino, maybe Taylor Hicks, Clay Aiken, like those names kind of stayed around quite a bit. But then those who don't go all the way through, like Jennifer Hudson and Adam Lambert, Bo Bice, Ruben Studdard, like those kinds of people. Like, you kind of wonder what in the world they're going to do, and then it's like you pay attention to them just a bit longer. And I think I think because like they're no longer under that TV show constraint, there's like, I think the pressure is kind of off in a way as to what they have to do. So they can just perform for just for the heck of it. They don't have to think about what in the world are they going to do each week to just stay in for so long, you know? And I just realized I forgot my handy dandy notebook upstairs. So I'll be right back. Feel free to enjoy the music. I will just leave you hanging at switch number 1, which is what we figured out at Gen's security room. Anyway, I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. And you're probably wondering why I call this thing my handy dandy notebook. I was a huge fan of Blue's Clues growing up, and, well, I actually teched for Steve Burns, the first host of Blue's Clues, and he was really nice, and we ended up talking about international politics for an hour with one of my other coworkers whose major is international politics. And this was like right at the beginning of the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. So we were like, it was like very, at the time it was very, 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 very new. And we were like worried about what was gonna happen next, you know? Super worried. And especially since I had some like super old friends whose family is Ukrainian, so I thought about them quite a bit. And they stayed in Kyiv. I think that's the right order. Hey, I did it! It's a cartoon. It's like a mix of like a realistic actor with an anime with like a paper animated background in green screen. Like now there's more dogs. Yeah, it is a kids show. this? This is a new age? But yeah, now it's gone through 3 hosts now. I think the current one, his name is, I think it's Justin? And then, or, no. It's still 1 syllable, I think. Yes! Yes, because it was, let me pull it up. This thing! That's what we saw, that's what we're seeing. This thing! That's what we're seeing right now. That is cool. Oh man, this is gonna be so cool. I didn't think we were gonna go for another age right now, but I guess we are. I love the frame, I gotta say. I love, like, the animation and the frame right here. And it looks like it's like if they're living in, like, one giant, artificially constructed, like, but, like, almost hive-like treehouse. It's so fascinating. Kind of reminds me of, like, kind of a mix of, like a mantis hive and paper mache. That's what it looks like, yeah. So, do you suggest I go now, or should I fix more things here before I move forward? Because I feel like I'm missing a few things in this section. I'm gonna save here. Alright, let me save here. New book, new world. Put 6. So at least if I happen to go too far in the wrong direction, at least I can go back. But yeah, so there were 3 hosts of Blue's Clues. I don't know what the 3rd one is, but I remember who the 3rd one is. He came like way after I was out, like I phased out of the age for him. But the second guy, his name's Joe. Apparently his actual name is Donovan. I know, like his real, like Joe's real name is Donovan. I was like, what? And apparently Steve and Joe are best friends in real life, so that was pretty cool. And they, like, called each other on the way over to my school. It was it was just great. So yeah, I'm very much into putting things down on paper too, so it kind of helps. And then, oh yeah, the other thing that I was thinking about. Oh my god! Oh, I got tranked. Again. You guys love me here. So it's basically lured here? I think I was. Oh, it's that. I guess it's a bed here. So I managed to get across here somehow. That must mean like they might have used like a boat or something. A prisoner, I guess. Brilliant. Well, what a way to make an entrance.
Katrina now da saya palo. Yapa ay manay yalepo. Miotisay. Bekaretere wirape yelo kene falapo. Tisay. Why te fulupe?
Well, I got the book back at least. There's something else in here. This looks like an account of a journal of some sort. I linked to Riven a week ago. The smell of the place overwhelmed me moments before I could see anything. With my sight only partially cleared, I stood motionless, peeping ahead through a dim veil which was slowly lifting. There was a violent clang, and bars appeared. Is this my account? This sounds like my account. I didn't think this character was in a week. But anyway. Bars appeared. I remember breathing slowly and very deeply, tasting the familiar Riven air, but not recognizing a thing. I must have been hit with the dart right away. I thought it was an insect bite at first. I'm trying to remember it all, but it's difficult. Maybe because of the drug. There was a voice. A man I did not recognize stood before me. Rivenese, though he was wearing dunny dress. He seemed to be talking to me, but the poison was already taking effect. A shadow crept in, and I fell asleep. Then there were the many voices, but I understood none of them. Like hundreds of people whispering. I couldn't wake up. No matter. The dream did end. And now, to be here with Etty. It's been so many years. I didn't realize how much I missed her. Like a piece of me that I had forgotten I lost. Okay, it sounds like somebody else. She's beautiful and so full of warmth, but the years have left her with a wound which was not there when we were children. I do wish she were more interested. Looks like there's a note here. I write quickly from my prison. Neela will return your book, which the moiety intercepted upon your arrival. After questioning her, I've concluded that it was written by Atris for a very specific purpose. Gem will desire to use it, although he may have suspicions. If you can find my prison, you will still need the combination to release me. Gen keeps it in his office. Then I assume where to signal Atris. I think I know how it might be done, but don't signal him before I'm released, Catherine. So I'm guessing, considering the writing in here, it's got to be Catherine's journal here, actually. This is Catherine's account. I do wish she were more interested. It seems like I'm asking all of the questions. It's awkward. No one asks me where I've been or what I've been doing. This hurts, but I understand it. Their beliefs are born out of ignorance and oppression. They are gentle people, but they've had their nest destroyed, and now they frantically cling to anything that might save them. But why have they chosen to cling to me? I'm confused. As a child, I always felt out of place here. I never belonged. They misunderstood me, and I couldn't relate to them. But now I'm overwhelmed by an intense feeling that I owe everything to them and this place. I thought I would never see them again, and yet I'm here. I've been given the second chance. But a second chance at what? Saving them? Fulfilling their prophecies? Being their savior? The moiety. Atris would want me to chronicle all that I've learned. I can at least record some of it. It seems that when Atris and I trapped Gen and Riven many years ago, our efforts were witnessed by most of the inhabitants here. 2 of the Rivenese even witnessed the confrontation with Gen in the fissure, where I linked back to Mist, and where Atris threw himself into the abyss. That's what we saw in the beginning of the first game. Of course, they understood little of what they were seeing, but they somehow were able to guess that we had won. That Gen was no god at all, but only a feeble imposter, a false god, and that we had trapped them here on Riven. I always hoped they would deduce this simple truth, but their further conclusions have astonished me. Atris had stripped Gen of his power, therefore Atris must be a true god. As a god, he was choosing me, the spiritual misfit from a Rivenese womb, to be his wife. I was transcending into deity, and were lord over Riven forever. Thus the moiety, as they call themselves, were born a dissident society, sworn enemies of Gen. So this is like moiety society that we basically transported into. I did not know of their beliefs regarding Atris and myself until 2 days ago. Etty was, for some reason, hesitant to tell me. I can't figure out why. I know she doesn't believe these things. Of course, everyone else assumed that I would be aware of my own god status, so they made no effort to inform me. I only realized it in a recent gathering to which I was invited. I sat at the front of a dimly lit and crowded cave as they told a mythical story of my own life, acting out the battle between Atris, myself, and Gen at the edge of the fissure. The events have been exaggerated into grandiose proportions. It was offensive, but I was unable to stop it. I was unable to break the illusion which is the very foundation of their hope and purpose, and which has given them courage to band together and rebel against Gen. Since then, I've learned of other doctrines and beliefs that have evolved, the most disturbing of which is the conviction that one day I will return to Riven to face them? To face them. Some believe that I will overthrow Gen. Others believe that I will bring them to paradise. I don't know how to deal with this. I fight it myself. I love these people, my only real kindred, but they will not love me as an equal, which hurts me. I would rather be their slave than their master. Wow. So, it kind of reminds me of this episode of the Orville, where the first officer on that ship, her name will come back to me. But long story short, she basically is looked upon as a deity, and that disturbs her quite a bit. And that even influences her relationship with Mercer. With Captain Mercer. Let me see. Orville. Okay. It was... Let me see. Cast the characters. Kelly. Commander Kelly Grayson. That's her name. So yeah, she gets looked upon as a deity from this alien species, and then, like, the ramifications of that assumption were so great that it basically affected how the planet ran, and then she couldn't live with that decision to the point where, yeah, it affected her relationship with Mercer, and that, like, they were actually pretty close to reconciling and possibly remarrying, but obviously that ended up not happening. I admit, I haven't exactly caught up with the current series of the Orville New Horizons. I tried, like, 3 episodes, but then for me, it got a little frustrating really quickly because it was getting pretty predictable what direction they were going for, so I kind of stopped. But yeah, the situation that Catherine's in feels very, very similar to what Kelly Grayson went through in the finale of season 1. So if you have not seen that, look, definitely in some ways the first season is not very, it's not too strict on temporal orders. You can practically watch it in any order you desire. Maybe the second half not so much because they do reference back a little, but if you want to find out like what's going on there, definitely check out that episode in particular. It's the season 1 finale of the series, and that was what I immediately thought of when I read that. Because, especially if you've, I mean, this, especially, I bet this is, like, very complicated with the fact that this is your home world, and then they're looking at you with this way, forgetting that you are the same person, regardless of what happened to you. I guess kind of similar to like how actors when they, or like any performer or athlete when they get celebrity status, they're the same person, they just happen to have a different gaze. It's a shift in gaze, essentially. And that can be very, very hard to handle. It can be very difficult to handle. So, it is very important that you have some ways to stay grounded. Because it can be so easy to lose yourself in that. Anyway, I'm winding around a little bit too much. Let's continue. Over the years, as Gen's power has become greater and greater, the moiety's numbers have grown, and they've become more and more adept at hiding themselves, like that secret passageway. They now live in a complex network of caves. They now live in a complex network of caves that he still has not discovered.
Make it for her. She has a cold. She's up in there.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Let me see.
Probably sleeping.
Alright. With that in mind, definitely coconut soup for everyone.
Alright. Yep. Sorry, my family just came back home. But it's okay. Let me see. I'm sorry for getting a little distracted. It's just, once again, I'm not as fully energized as I usually am around this point, but like my energy will come back eventually. But yeah, let me read this paragraph again. Oh, it's been a long day, people. Anyway, here we go. Over the years, as Gen's power has become greater and greater, the moiety's numbers have grown, and they have become more and more adept at hiding themselves. Like that chamber, even though that seems a little bit obvious. But anyway, they now live in a complex network of caves that he still has not discovered. Or maybe he's just deciding not to go there because he thinks it's not important, compared to his status as a quote-unquote god. Anyway, the moiety, for the most part, completely severed their relationship with any of the Rivenese that chose against joining them. But I hope they've not sacrificed vital limbs in order to remove the cancer. Even Father and Errant are still on the surface of Gen's domains, and I long to see them. But a dimness shrouds Edis's face every time Eddie's face every time I mention them. Since this break took place, they have interfered with the surface in superficial ways, occasionally sabotaging one of Gen's constructions or stealing food from the villagers. They wear strange masks and costumes during their short forays to the island's surface and take this regalia very seriously, refusing to be seen by anyone outside the moiety unless they are properly attired. They get much pleasure out of the fact that those on the surface are frightened by these costumes, calling them evil spirits or ghosts. It was during one of these expeditions that they fortuitously rescued me from one of Gen's guards when I first appeared on the island. Otherwise, I'm sure I would have been delivered to Gen immediately. I've no doubt he's searching for me. Of course, I'm now aware that I was fooled. Atreus is not here. I was at first devastated by this realization. Now I am thankful. He would be in extreme peril here. Also, there is a guest. Sorry, not guest. Quiet. Oh my gosh. Her writing's a little hard to read, I will say. I did replay the footage. I'm guessing that lady that suddenly appeared that I got scared by for a second was one of the moiety. I think she just got pulled out of her prison, and this is the journal account, and I think that's also how she retrieved the book for me, was through that. Anyway. Quiet inner voice that is an echoing remnant that wants him far away, which thankfully he is. Anyway, let me check something. I need to zoom into the chat. I'm so sorry, because I feel like I'm missing messages, even though Twitch is saying like they're still tuned in, but it keeps flipping between like they're not tuned in, or it's like, oh, they are tuned in, and my YouTube is streaming incorrectly. I apologize. I don't know what's going on with that. Anyway, okay, it hasn't changed. Anyway. But yeah, it's a good thing he's back on Myst. So it looks like the series of this game, the series of events that happened in this game, basically took place over a week. So Myst happened right after that confrontation with Gen. Catherine subsequently got imprisoned by Gen. I come into the picture. The moiety released Catherine. I managed to find the moiety homeworld, get captured myself, and I think Catherine put two and two together as soon as she saw the linking book by that moiety person that I saw like get darted. And then we're here. So all this took place in the course of like maybe like all this stuff with like from Myst till now took place over a week. That is wild. Anyway. I have just witnessed an age dying, gasping its last breath. Today I ventured to the surface to see what has become of this island. I hoped it would not be as bad as the moiety had reported. It was worse. They have become slowly accustomed to its steady decay, but I was devastated. The lips from which the kiss is wrought has fallen words until will fall cold. Will fall cold breath? Will fall cold, like the lips from which the kiss is wrought has fallen words will fall cold breath. Or will fill cold breath? I don't know how to read this. Anyway. The womb from which the cry released has suffered hurt, will suffer death. To get to the surface, we had to travel through a complex series of doors and passages. Before the last of these doors, they offered me a weapon, which I accepted, and then a mask. I held the mask in my hands for a while, wondering what sort of terror it might invoke in these members of my family who still live on the surface. But I also knew I must keep my identity hidden from Gen's ever-vigilant eye, so I accepted it as well. Then together we swam a short expanse and emerged out of the surface of the ocean under a rocky overhang. The harsh sunlight made my eyes sting, but the fresh, rich air was exhilarating after these past weeks in the dank caves. The two men with me were silent, communicating only with hand signals. The three of us emerged from one hiding place and made our way to the top of the plateau. At the edge of the thick and overgrown area of this forest, they stopped, peered through the foliage for a moment, and then turned to me as if awaiting my command. But could not respond. But I could not respond. In fact, I found it difficult to move. I was smelling, hearing, and breathing my youth. This swept over me in a matter of seconds, but in seconds more, all feeling was gone. There was numbness. We did not stay long on the surface, but it was long enough to see the worst. Riven, which is once one island, has split apart into 5 distinct pieces, about a half a mile apart. 4 of these have been claimed by Gen and as an exclusive domain. Only its ministers and personal militia are even allowed access to them. From my vantage point at the edge of the forest, I could see 3 of these islands. They are stripped of their former beauty and are riddled with Gen's self-absorbed constructions. The moiety rarely visit these closely guarded places. There is another island which I could not see, as it evidently crept away to a terrific distance. The moiety are very unclear as to what exists on this island, except for the fact that they know it is where the great tree used to exist. The forest is located on the island that the surface dwellers and the moiety still refer to as Riven, but they also still refer to their entire world as Riven. This island is where the village is, which has changed dramatically. It is also the one remaining province of the people, though Gen's influence can be seen everywhere. As we saw at the school. I had to figure out how to link these. Anyway, of course, I know the reason for the fracturing of the islands. The moiety do not. Gen wrote this place, and it will die, as all of Gen's ages eventually die. I feel nothing today. I am nothing. I live in a cave in a dying world inhabited by people that... they're treating me so strangely. They don't know how to relate to a god. I'm still an outcast here. They whisper amongst themselves, talking of my bravery during my excursion to the surface, how I walked across the island, bold and unafraid. They don't know me. Yeah, those bridges. Now I remember. Now I need to figure out what those bridges I need, what those bridges do, and how most importantly, how do I get to them and lower them. Anyway, oh yeah, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, that happened to me earlier. That happened to one of my friends earlier today. So I totally get it. Anyway, was I? Treat me strangely. I'm still an outcast here. There we go. They whisper amongst themselves, talking of my bravery during my excursion to the surface. How I walked across the island, bold and unafraid. They don't know me. There we go. Even Etty is uncomfortable around me. At times, there is no awkwardness, and I am only Katron to her. But at other times, I am something else. I am afraid. There's such a gaunt numbness inside me. Great numbers inside me? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. In some ways, it still is experimental. Yes, I think it's like grand or gaunt. I think it's... I don't know how to read this. Anyway, there's a numbness inside me. Today, I do not feel closeness with my people. Neither am I offended by their worship of me. I do not hate Gen. I do not feel anything. At least Neela is still close. She's going through quite a bit psychologically. That much I can tell here. It's like, this is all gonna be so stressful. Like, your husband is spirited away on mist. Your kids or something, like your sons are doing what they're not supposed to do, and your father-in-law is doing a very corruptive influence on your homeland. Yeah, I'm starting to think I should probably find that, because Catherine's writing's a little hard to read. So I feel like I'm missing a lot, but yeah, she's going through a lot of... what I could tell from reading this, she is going through a lot of stress to the point where she can't even finish her entries. Like, that's how bad it's gotten. But here's the part that I'm shocked about, which is this part right here, which is Gen is making and writing books. I wish they had told me sooner. Atris should have realized this would happen, of course. Gen would have written all the materials necessary to the dunny craft of making books into this age, and possibly every other age he ever wrote. He's attempting to write his way out of here. We did not imprison him. We only delayed him. This age has become his factory, and the people are his machines. Oh. I'm guessing I'm just gonna swap in helping. In his mad pursuit to become a god, to carry on his noble dunny cause. So far, all laboring. That's what I just read it now. All laboring in his mad pursuit to become a god, to carry on his noble dunny cause. So far, he has not been able to produce a fully functional book. Atris has never believed in destiny, but I don't know what else to call it. It's too perfect. It's too much of a coincidence. They hang on my every word, though they do not understand them. I am their hope, and now I have returned. I owe this to them. There is no choice. That's the telescope right here. It has been a long time since my last entry. It is hard to recognize, but I have found the Starfisher. It is located on the island which the Rivenese call Aleppo, meaning water pool, but which is referred to by the moiety as Alatuan, meaning pool of stars. Having once allowed Atris to escape this age without leaving an open door behind us, it has since been sealed with the skin of heavy iron. So that's what that thing is. So that's what that entire sheet was. It was basically like a blockage of the Starfisher that we saw in the very beginning of the game, of the first game. Having once allowed Atris to escape this age without leaving an open door behind us, since you already read that. A crude telescope has been mounted over a locked viewport, the combination to which was acquired by the moiety before my arrival, which the code is 1. I think it's 1, right? Yeah, it's got to be 1. 11541. Well, that's what it says. In the early days, the moiety, seeking an escape from Riven, briefly pursued the idea of reopening the fissure. They discovered a small mechanical stop to prevent the scope from hitting the portal window. Ultimately, however, they decided against opening it. I hate to think what would have happened to them if they had not left it alone. I instructed them to stay away from it. I'm almost certain that with the decayed state of the islands, opening the fissure now would be disastrous. I have heard that in the days immediately following Gen's confinement on Riven, he attempted to determine the feasibility of navigating the stars beneath the fissure, for he had seen the mist book fall from Atris's hands into that very same space. To this end, he would have people, alleged transgressors of the law, thrown into it so that he could observe their fate. The telescope which still stands there is one he had built from these callous experiments. It is said that they did not die, but what became of them remains a mystery. It appears that the limits of Gen's optics prevented him from learning their fate. The star field beneath the fissure is not as it seems. It is a gentle space, as hospitable to life as a flowing river. This is how Atris explained it, after he had fallen into it. But much more than that, we've never understood, and we were never able to conclude upon its origins. But the visions tell me that it was born out of the will of the Maker, perhaps for some greater purpose that we cannot yet understand. I still remember Atris's words from his journal. I realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse. I had to read it in Atris's voice, because that's like the most famous opening in 90s gaming history. Anyway, there must be some greater reason behind it. I neglected to mention it earlier. The unique shape of one of the great daggers which appeared during our escape from Riven, the very dagger that stands vertically at one end of the Elatrum, has been adapted by the moiety as the symbol of their cause. It is a sacred symbol for them. It is a representation of all of their doctrine, and their representation of me. To deface this symbol is sacrilege. They have their own mythical explanation regarding its sudden origins. I haven't told them that I wrote it into this age, along with all the other daggers. He totally did. Oh gosh. It's strange how such a young religion can be so unbending, even to their own god. I have tried to dissuade them of the notion that symbols contain so much power. The enemy uses this paranoia against them. They are fearful of Gen's symbol and are terrorized by its symbolic use of the work. Anyway, but they don't want to hear this from me. Perhaps my attempts have even caused some of the younger members of the moiety to doubt that I'm Catherine. My rare encounters with those who say they follow Gen have been discouraging. I've hoped to have some communication with the surface villagers, but they always flee from me. But I have heard news of some of the villagers' beliefs regarding Gen. Soon after we trapped Gen on Riven, he claimed that he was responsible for the daggers, placing them around the island as a reminder of their failure. In the village circles, it is told that this was a punitive act performed by Gen to mark the beginning of a period of restitution, at the end of which, if they have proven their devotion to him, they will be delivered onto a new and better existence. Oh, the Wark! The Wark, okay. Because like the way she spelled it, it looked like it was. It's a typo. It's a typo right here. Anyway, delivered to a new and better existence. Okay, I'll continue to try and to reach them. The door is open. Is open. Gen is face? I have to find a transcript for this at some point. I know I'm reading this incorrectly. Anyway. Gen has the ability to create working books. In fact, he had written out one age before I arrived, but he has kept this accomplishment so well hidden that only his closest ministers were aware. Until now. I'm not sure. Perhaps he has written others. Other news? A few years ago, before the moiety were forced into hiding, one of them managed to steal what appeared to be a test book that Gen had intended to destroy. It had been partially written, but did not work. They didn't tell me about it until now because they thought it was useless. Back then, weird? But the first spelling, like the one you did, makes way more sense. But again, it might be just like a Dunny/Rivenese spelling of work. What was I saying? Back then, none of Gen's books worked, but instead of correcting the problem at its source, he blamed it on the impure wood of the Riven forest and proceeded to engineer a cumbersome mechanical remedy, a complex series of domes, to heal his book's inherent flaws. So that's what the domes are for. One of the consequences of this crude solution, however, was that the domes demanded huge amounts of energy, and the related problems delayed his success for quite some time. That's true. That might be why. At last, however, he finished his work and was finally able to link to an age, but he kept his success extremely well hidden. However, for some reason or another, belligerent pride, he has made modifications to the domes which make it obvious that he's using the domes to breathe life into his half-dead books. Perhaps he means to lure me in, lure us into using these books in the domes. He can't believe that we would blindly swallow the suicidal bait. But he wouldn't know that we have one of his books, the stolen burnt book. Which is, I think, what we used to get to here, I think. Have read burnt book. The age it describes would be unsuitable as a new home for the moiety. Must be modified. I will dream. Have requested a group to solve a combination that will open the domes. Once open, we could power the burnt book. I do not think Gen will interfere. He will leave the bait. Oh, okay, so that's what the sliders are for. Okay. Have begun writing the moiety's age. Now must require a second book from Gen. There is tension. A strain blurs my vision and nightmares. Neela and Etty stay close. Kind of reminds me of Gen here. Much has happened. Almost everything is prepared. We have stolen another book, but I'm concerned Gen will miss it. We've also discovered the combinations for entering the domes, but we have not discovered the method for powering them. By powering our book with Gen's domes, we will be able to link to this age, but we will only have access to this dome for a short amount of time before we are discovered. Therefore, we can only use the domes once. I must find another way to make the books work. The gateway images in Gen's books and on our burnt book all seem to share the same sickness. If they are not powered, the images are black. It might be possible to clear the vision with only... We'll write substance into moiety age. So... I guess kind of a little bit of a fun thing. I just thought of it now, but maybe that's why, like, the Mist book and Abduction has a battery in the back, or like some like wiring in the back, because the linking books need some sort of power for it to work. At least those ones are. So that means that book's actually Gen's book, technically. Ken's broken book. Anyway. All was ready. Now all we could do is wait for the word from the Moyetan-esque, who are on the lookout for Gen to power and use the domes. When he does that, we will have access to one of Gen's domes just long enough. After linking to the age which I've written, I only have to locate the book window substance and refine or adapt it. Laying this window over the gateway image should heal the books and make them work. So allow me to use the second stolen book and return to Riven with more of the book windows. He will then no longer have to rely on Gen's clumsy domes. I laugh at these plans. I sound like Atris. I'm risking my life, but I feel no fear, only anxiety. Perhaps it is the source of my nightmares. The fissure, like a great wound, is opened. It strains the Riven soil with blood. I hold the moiety knife. The voices grow so bad. So loud. Actually, switching to the Mist book and Abduction having a battery that's based off a real electronic book a fan had built. That makes more sense, honestly. I wanted to make like a fun like fan theory, but I mean, like, it is I know like that book showing up in the game. I know it's like a Kickstarter backed thing, but yeah, it's probably a fan thing. So that means like Mist technically exists. Maybe like the game itself exists in Abduction, considering that tree abducted people from multiple time periods. So no doubt somebody who's a fan of Mist got teleported into Hunrath. Yeah, it would fit more with the lore. I agree. If you want to like go more lore heavy, it would not be surprising if Gen's book or one of the books that like the moiety worked on happened to fall into Hunrath. which would technically mean abduction, like all the places of abduction, including this planet, would technically be an age. We're basically an age right now. So then who created us? I went meta. Yep. So technically, abduction in turn this planet is part of Mist. So that still begs the question: who created us? And then who went like Saint Elsewhere with the Mist story? Who went Saint Elsewhere with us? Anyway, where was I? Great wound is open. It stains the Riven soil with blood. I need the mighty knife. The voices grow so loud. Okay, there we go.
You test it out. I think the boxes are up here.
Catherine, I just believe in someone they call the Maker, which is basically God. Yeah. So, I guess the whole thing is created by the Maker. Yeah. Miss and in turn abduction with Saint Elsewhere on us. Wow. If anybody's curious about Saint Elsewhere, look it up on TV Tropes. Basically, it's a soap opera. But more or less, they assume that basically every single TV show in existence and kind of return our existence is based on one character's memory from his character from Saint Elsewhere. So we're basically all in Saint Elsewhere right now. Anyway, what was I saying? For their part, the moiety have complete faith that I will accomplish my task and lead them to a better world. It is the fulfillment of their prophecy, but they are also fearful and tense. I don't know what they will think or do if I fail. It is done. It seems too good to be true. I feel like it's all still a dream. We have already evacuated all of the moiety to this new age. It is beautiful and I am pleased. At last my people will live in safety and comfort. They stand under this bare sky, unafraid and dazzled by their freedom. They are happy. They have named it Tay. There's still much to be done. We're not protected yet. The only way to completely safeguard this place is to destroy the book which links to here from Riven. But I do not even know how to bring this up to the moiety. They will be extremely reluctant about destroying their only link to Riven. I share this hesitation. I would be cutting off my only connection, but for their sake, it must be done. I am anxious to know if our activities have aroused against suspicions. If so, we must act quickly. Even so, I feel now we are impregnable. Tomorrow I'll return to Riven to see Gen's reaction for myself, but tonight I finally rest. And of course, unfortunately, she is trapped right now, so... And this is the prison book. So I'm not gonna press that. Or that's our signal.
Sira po. Ibuko mo buko wisipo. Na vene. Tapo mo revene beno. Now, Katerina ne. Wisifa polo ya sepe yai.
I think she's Etty, and she might have asked me to try and get Catherine out. Well, gotta do what I gotta do. So that's what this window is. I see. Okay. So, yeah, look up, I think it's called Saint Elsewhere or Elmo Saint Elsewhere. Something like that. I'll pull up a link in a little bit. But yeah, it's a really interesting theory. So we made it back to Riven. And we also need to find a way to get Catherine out of this place. Okay, you found it. Good. Yeah, there's like even like this, I don't know if it still exists, but like somebody made like this giant diagram. Hunrath is like that clinic. Kinda. Well, I was thinking more so with the Riven book in particular. With the Riven book in particular. In a way, the Caroline Farley studio, is kind of proving Saint Elsewhere's existence because the Mist book exists there. Yeah, like the clinic, yes. Yeah, basically, yeah. So Hunrath, and in turn, Hunrath is basically kind of, it's a little meta-contextual, because Hunrath is kind of like, if I went with the mythology that I talked about with Gen, Mist would, like, abduction would technically be part of Mist, or like the Great Starfisher. If we're going with the fan made up theory, then technically a fan of Mist teleported to abduction. So either way, the world of abduction, like Hunrath, the Mofang homeworld, the villain homeworld, all those aliens and such are part of a Saint Elsewhere-ish existence. And with Hunrath being there, that includes us on Earth. So basically this entire galaxy and everything surrounding it is Saint Elsewhere. We're all part of abduction / Mist right now. Does that make sense? I know I'm overthinking this, but I mean, I love thinking through fan theories a lot of the time. But yeah, Hunrath's part of that clinic. Saint Elsewhere. Well, yeah, I have to figure out, like, how in the world? Yep, exactly. You got it. You got it. That's basically what it is. Because there's so much, like, self-referential stuff. So for all these things are connected. Yep, exactly. So technically, all the worlds of abduction are part of the Starfisher. And us in turn, we're technically part of the Starfisher. We're just probably part of the Starfisher that's like, we're just kind of part of the Starfisher, like part of the portion of the Starfisher that's not exactly hospitable. I mean, just like rivers naturally have their inhospitable areas. Rivers naturally have their inhospitable areas, therefore Earth is technically around an inhospitable area of starfisher. So the reason why Gan, and in some ways, like by extension, like Atris and Catherine and anybody who went through the starfisher probably don't know where everybody else ended up, it's probably because, like, they probably ended up in a starfisher that was practically inhospitable. Like we are here on Earth. So that's why, compared to their part of the starfisher, oh, that makes one more sense, actually, for this to be the last one. I just realized it. Anyway, we're probably just in a part of the starfisher that's inhospitable compared to like the Dunny and most of the other species that are in more hospitable parts of the starfisher. Does that make any sense? I mean, I'm kind of making I feel like I'm kind of making this up, but that's how I kind of think about this. Because of everything that's happened up until this point. You know? Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, it did. Holy smokes, that looks cool. Just for a look. Ooh, that's cool. That's a long way down. Let me check something. Because there's something over here, right? So I finally figured out what those shield, like those water things were. It turns out I think it's like revealing the topography of like each of the islands, right? Like that's what I finally figured out. But now what I need to figure out is how in the world do I lower these how do I lower these bridges? Like, there's got to be like a switch somewhere to do this, right? Yeah. And then, obviously, there's got to be something that we got to fill in with this in order to get the switch to open here. Because it looks like there's like an elevator of some sort that we need to get activated. From what I can tell. And obviously, I could tell this is something important. And we now know that this thing represents the 5 split islands of Riven. And I'm guessing some of these pipes might go to those various split sections, because I recognize some of them from like the power station and such. So there's a lot going on in this game. Whew, whew, whew. I don't know what the buttons are for. Like, that's the only thing I don't know what they're for. I think we're just gonna have to try, like, as many islands as possible until, like, as many ways as possible until we figure out, like, what in the world, where in the world are we going? Because for the most part, I can't really do much in this island until I know for sure where in the world we're going. Then there's there's like the little switches I still need to figure out. Like this thing. Why is this switch here? I'm assuming it affects the it affects it affects the like the magna rails, but I don't know how exactly. Also, I'm with the moiety, y'all. They recruited me for this purpose to save you guys. Right down here, so... Wait, I've already done there. Okay, let me go down. Hold up. Let me get back to... the other spot in the forest. So, are they basically implying that, like, the domes are kind of... emphasis on kind of a fool's errand? Excuse me. The Rivenese who stayed here are probably the dupes who still believe Gen's story. Yeah. I also would be surprised if they were, like, if they were just too afraid to believe in anything else, you know? So, like, they'd rather stay with the devil they know than the devil they don't, than the angel they don't. Because, I mean... the problem is... I think the problem is necessarily that, like... We don't want change. We don't want change enough. I think it's more so like we're kind of combating our sense of comfort with the way things are, even if things aren't good enough. Like, even if things end up not being good for us long term. And sometimes the staying, for some people at least, is much less painful or frustrating than leaving. Does that make any sense? At least they try to justify their decision in that way. So, considering this type of mechanic in my life, I've pretty much always been the moiety's shoes. Yeah. In this case, this case especially, especially with the way Catherine has journaled down all this, I'm absolutely with the moiety. On the other hand, though, both the Rivenese and the moiety kind of fell in the same trap in deifying their own kin. I mean, they kind of went a little almost Christ-like in their can I say belief system? So they kind of forgot, hey, that's her kin. Okay. I think I'm starting to map this out now. So if you flip it, you go up here. If you don't flip it, you go across. Okay, now I'm seeing how this track works. So you flip it, you go upstairs, you get to that place. If you flip it the other way and then go across, that's how you get to that other island. Okay. I think I'm starting to map this out now. That is true. That's true. They just might have forgotten to tell them that. Then again, it also doesn't help that she was it looks like she's been a misfit for a pretty good chunk of her life, so that kind of in turn might have affected her reputation among the Rivenese and the moiety. So that kind of made talking about the Maker in a way much more difficult to navigate. Okay, I think I'm starting to map out this place, because, it's so easy to get confused if you don't know where you're going, or, you're just not confident about where you're going. Okay. So that's a place we get to unlock. And then I'm assuming if we flip this thing around, if you look here, there is something on the other side down here. So we need to just flip the magnet rail around. We should be able to get to the other side and then explore what's there. I think I'm starting to figure this out now, because I was so confused before, but now I'm starting to get it. Oh, it's not allowing me to get off. Why is that making me think there's something more on the other side, then? Okay, anyway. I'm slowly starting to get it, though. I'm assuming this is that mining car track. So how do I open this? This is so hard. I didn't expect this to be so hard. Then, right across there, we're back at the science lab stuff. Right across there, we get back to the... I don't think we reached here, have we? Because that does not look from... I don't think I... Wait. So, it's from Dome to Village. Village, if it go down, goes to Lab. Lab, if it go down, goes to here. I'm guessing it's a power station of some sort. And then... So then... But this looks like the power station island. So how do we get to the rest of it? Curiouser and curiouser, you know? Yeah, that side's the exit. So flip around. Okay, it's time that we finally mapped out the architecture of this place. Oh snap, yeah, you should probably get some rest. 2:42 a.m. Oh, other way. Whoops. I can never keep track of these entrances because there's too many of them. Oh. Yeah, with some people you just don't know. You don't know how the dynamic how dynamic goes the way it goes. I'm starting to get a rough idea of it now. So I think there's like one island I still have yet to get to, which is the smallest one, which no doubt is where Gen's hiding out in. That's my guess anyway. So, from what I could tell, I think this is obviously... The L-shaped island is this island here. From what I could tell from this map. Yeah, this is this island. Because that's the map. It's a map of a map. And then this is the lake portion. And this is the dome. It's kind of easy to figure out how all this fits together. This one's the Crater Island, I think. So now I see what this is supposed to be. So this is basically like one giant map of all 5 islands. How to get to them is the question, isn't it? Like, get to all of them. Because, like, literally the only one that we have left is the one on the top right here. Waffle maker with waffles with waffle maker with waffles. Oh my gosh, waffle maker with marbles yet. I mean, I think if this is the same puzzle that I thought this thing was, but turned out wasn't, I haven't yet. Because, like, I mean, I know that that marble puzzle is, like, infamous. Super infamous. I'm assuming it's, like, the Crater Island, I think, was the Power Station Island. Oh, no, this is the Temple Island. Yeah, I still need to find that one. But yeah, that marble puzzle is like the most infamous one, and then like, if I remember correctly, maybe I'm mixing it up with Exile. I'm not sure. Is that the one where like you had to arrange the tracks a certain way, and then you had to I think I'm mixing it up with Exile, but like there's this one track puzzle where like you have to get these marbles on the very bottom of a track without crashing into anything, and then you have to run, and then okay, I remember correctly then. Yeah, you had to like ride it all the way down. Kopo! It's been a hot minute. But yeah, I had a feel. Yeah, I did. And so I'm playing because of abduction. I'm getting like abduction, especially the Kickstarter bonus of the fan designed powered book. I decided to play the Mist trilogy. It's the first time playing Riven. I've watched playthroughs of Riven, but I've not actually played it. It was a very, very, very long time ago I watched it though, so I do not remember much. And the things I do remember, I'm mixing it up with Exile. Which I've also never played. But I've watched. That one I could easily cite. I watched, for Mist and Exile, I watched a YouTuber called Shady Paradox. He is basically, like, kind of the expert of all, well, besides the Gallant Man, of course. He's kind of the expert of all things Mist. So yeah, that's like who I kind of turned to when it came to learning about a lot of like mist lore and stuff because he even read the books, which I kind of heard that because they thought that someone more notable should, or like someone who's like obviously an author should write the mist books. They hired a professional author to basically rewrite what Robin Miller had wrote for the lore to a more understandable format, and also to like give them a bit of notoriety in the literature world because they thought that, like their names in the game. Their names in the gaming world basically were not going to be enough for the literature world at the time, at least. I think nowadays we could easily disagree with that, but back in the 90s and 2000s, just what like they were way more divisive in their kind of standards, you know. Yeah, I also think like Shady Paradox should have like a degree in like mist lore. Like if anything, like there's like nowadays there's so many people who are big fans of Mist nowadays that I mean there's even like a giant like Mist retrospective video that came out like a number of years ago. Okay, that's the. I am trying to figure out like what each of these tracks are leading to because like this one I don't remember going to at all. This one I remember that's the village. This one that's like the giant dome island. I still need to get the bridge to work. Yeah, Mysterium. There's Mysterium, which happens at the Cyan World Studio, and then there's another one that happens in New Zealand. I just forgot the name of it, but there's another one that takes place like in the New Zealand area that's also misdevoted. That also happens every year. Well, I did not notice this. What? What? There's gotta be a switch or something around here. I gotta go back to that. I think that map that I saw has gotta be a very important clue about this area. Because I did not notice that. Okay, so it's this one. Yeah, I think it's the it's that elevator, but it looks like that bridge. I think that bridge raises up somehow. Like that's that it's that elevator. It's that elevator, but it feels like there's something more underneath there. And I'm guessing that like the elevator probably goes higher based on what all this water does, you know? I get the spiky part there. Because it was like this thing here. Not gonna tell me much. I'm overthinking this. You know, it kind of reminded me of like a conversation my dad and I had like earlier today about various game styles, about game playing styles. But yeah, we talked about how about various gameplay styles and how especially kind of certain games unfortunately could kind of encourage, or at least like kind of his theory, they kind of encourage in a way kind of a linear thinking because in some designs you can't really I don't know how to explain it exactly. But in particular because I've played a lot of... Oh, sorry. Give me 1 second here. Background noise, and I don't want to get copyright struck. 1 second. Okay, thank you for your patience. Did not want to get a copyright struck, even though it's from a region that's not as strict when it comes to that kind of thing. But anyway, where's it in? Yeah, so talk about like kind of. I think the more accurate term is gameplay design, because I don't mean like I don't think styles was the right word, but like his kind of point being that there are certain designs that like the gameplay is so linear that like you can't really deviate from the programming too much, which for a game like this you can't really do that because we can't really break away from that too much because, well, I mean, this was a 90s design. Of course you're not going to be able to break away too much from that. However, the thing, I mean, then again, he's not as gaming literate as I am. I mean, in his defense, he's not as gaming literate as I am. Like, he tends to mainly focus on, like, city builders and the like. But he wasn't really thinking about other playstyles that kind of break game mechanics to see how many more ways that you can enjoy a game. Even more than what was originally designed. I think that evidence speaks a lot more to, like, a little bit better to, like, for example, games with mods, or, role-playing, or more open-world stuff. Yeah, exactly. Or even, like, the console gaming, I think the console gaming material is a bit more conducive to kind of breaking away from like the linear mechanics a little bit, if that makes any sense. It's kind of hard to describe off the top of my head, especially with my my very tired brain. But essentially, like because this is so linear and it has like a certain plot of if this then why, and it can't really break away from that too much. It kind of makes it hard in turn to if it gets the only thing that you're seeing, it's kind of hard to like go a bit more flexible with your gameplay compared to like console or open world gameplay where there are multiple ways to solve the one thing. I mean, like, the aim is still the same. Get the key to this lock to open said door to get to the other side. Yes, kind of like that, exactly. Like, your aim is still get to the other side of this spot, but you have multiple ways of getting to said spot, instead of, like, this game where you have one way in, one way out, one way to get up and down and all around. So, like, yeah, he didn't really think about, like, the speed running community or the Kaizo Mario community or, like, something like that where, like, breaking game mechanics was kind of a legit play style in a way. And I didn't really get a chance to explain that to him. But I think just the number one concern that he had was like, I mean, he did like was to make sure that we didn't get trapped in this super boxed in thinking. Because I feel like nowadays it almost seems like, especially with all these, yeah, like it seems like all of these it seems like all these like this the society seems like they're trying to, I mean, at least in his words, trying to turn us into machines and machines into more human substitutes, more or less. Not really in terms of like employment, but more so in terms of, yeah, like, but more so in terms of like how we see ourselves, because there's been a hyper fixation on hustle culture and productivity and efficiency. Efficiency was the word, like especially efficiency. Oh, it did? Huh. I'm still seeing chat working just fine. But yeah, it's like we're having this hyper focus on efficiency to the point of detriment to what kind of makes us feel whole, what makes us excited and happy. Yeah, it's not like the bottom update, it's a top update. I could change it to a bottom update, but I kind of read from top to bottom, whereas on my restream chat, it's from bottom to top. But yeah, it seems like there's been such a hyperfixation on productivity that like it's forgetting that like our gotcha. April Fools. But yeah, it just seems like there's like just this hyperfixation on trying to be productive, but then like we're kind of forgetting what are we being productive towards exactly, and most importantly, how do we contribute to our well-being in society and just in our lives in general? Because if we get so focused on what like what makes us like only efficient or only like our worth as labor, then it kind of makes us forget about our human experience, like what makes us come alive, you know? It's very easy to forget that if we're not careful. Oh, I did not see this. Oh my. Oh wait, no, that's the ladder. That's the ladder we had before. Okay. And we just kept going there. Okay. Yep, exactly. Mm-hmm. That's basically it. Yep. We just gave so much of power to like money and our agency. It's just our money, our creativity, our energy to just things that may not, like, I mean, they might get us the basics in the short term, but the long term, they're not really good for us. I am trying to figure out this switch here, because I think it's... Yep. And, man, service workers especially need to get way more respect, because, like... Because, like, if they tolerate... For some of them, they tolerate, like... They tolerate, like, irritated clients for months at a time. Yeah, like, moral reasoning. Man, how do I switch this off? Yeah, it's like a moral thing as well. Which I know, like, moral is charged of a term, but it's kind of something that we really do need to think about. Like, how do we produce and consume ethically for the good of all and, if possible, harm to none? Which I know was a very, very, very huge ask. Yeah, because, I mean, waiters and bartenders kind of become, like... For lack of better phrasing, the kind of unofficial therapist. Because, I mean, you're catching a person, a client, at their... often their most vulnerable. And so... especially when, like, they're tired or exhausted. Yeah, especially... emphasis on unintentional. Like, it's often unintentionally turning out that way. Yeah, like, some of my... like, one of my gym teachers used to be... Like, she did... I think she did bartending, like, during her... Oops. Yeah, like, she did bartending during her college years, I think. And... that certainly changed the way that... she saw things. That she saw the world, you know? Yeah, you can take me out of school, but this kind of brain. This ain't going anytime soon. I think about a lot of things. I don't need wine or caffeine for this stuff. This just happens. Yeah, I can't figure out this section at all. I know there's gotta be a switch to turn off that fan. Like that I kind of got spoiled on. Okay. I got a hint that said to shut the doors behind me when I came into this room. So let's see what's gonna happen if I do that. Oh, come on! What? There was another room. There was another hallway that was completely blocked by this dang door. Or which I think. Let me see. Yes! Oh, come on! What? All I had to do was close one dang door, and that's all I need to get into this room. Wherever this is. Okay, where's that switch? Yeah, I just figured out the door's a deception. Ah! So how the heck do I turn this off? It's in this section. Where the heck do I go from here? Of course! Of course! This dang doors! Yeah, I should have expected this from them. Oh my god. Like, especially considering the, Especially considering the, what's his face? The generator? Like, come on! Oh my god. Man, imagine if I played this in April Fool's, like, you got this itch by the door. Yeah, because they wouldn't try the same trick twice. Haha. Nope, they totally would. I feel ridiculous. Just like, just shut the door behind you. And there's a hallway. There was a literal. Oh my god. I feel. I feel ridiculous now. Oh my god. So that's how you get to the. And that's the back of that generator. That door I was trying to open earlier. And then on the other side of this bridge. Okay, there we go. So we come up here. There's gotta be some. That's where that handle. And we get to the other side now. Wow, I felt like we were never gonna get progress until today. Oh my goodness. And I'm assuming that wheel on the side is supposed to give us more connections to get to the other side. Right here. Like, it extends out. Like... Yep. Wow. Just... wow. It was so simple. And then we extend this out. The circle is complete. Oh, man. This game put me through it. Not gonna lie. This game put me through it. Oh my god. And oh, there's another switchy. Which, considering that this game had Japanese designers, switchy is not a bad thing to say. Anyways, I think we got all the bridges connected, right? So we got this one, boop, down. We're going down! We clearly activated a switch. To where? I don't know. Yeah, go get some sleep. Go get some sleep. It is late where you are. Go to bed. There's another dome here. So fast, okay. I'm going too short, too slow. I should have stopped it. Come on. There we go. Got it. There's a lot of these books here. So we need to just figure out, like, what the password is to each of these things. Heh. What did I just do? What more is here? Oh my gosh. It's like a drain? Or something or other? Something's like going on upstairs. I don't know. Or it's a door. That goes down. Okay, I see. Okay, that's down already, so. This place. Okay. So, we made a ton of progress here, I am happy to say. Like, it has been one giant maze after another. We've gone through so many elevators, but finally, we have got some progress. So, next time on Riven, We're going to open this door. I'm assuming it leads to our final island. But, of course, we got to figure out, like, how to get that vent working. But, of course, it could be another trick. But anyway. There's so many interesting places in this game that we need to go through. I'm excited. I'm super excited to see where this is going to go. Anyway, so, going to do the next part tomorrow. And then part 7 on Thursday. Then I'll probably make a break on Friday. I'll take a break on Friday and then come back Ziki Sasquatch Saturday. And then chill stream maybe on Sunday. And then we come back on Monday with this Riven thing. Feel free to check out all the stuff in the bottom here and all my social media for all the things that I have going on this channel and stuff that I do outside of YouTube and all that jazz. Anyway, this episode was filmed in the lands of the Lenape and the Nanticoke nations. If you want to find out more about whose land you're currently living on, please feel free to check out native-land.ca. I find there's a better luck in terms of living in Australia, New Zealand, and the Americas. Not so much outside of that, but I know the site is currently working on updates for any regions outside of there. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you had an awesome time. I certainly did. Stay safe out there. Keep hydrated. Remember to enjoy life, especially in this season of spring. Stop and smell the roses once in a while. If you're in fall, just enjoy the nice, crisp air. I think it's a thing in the southern hemisphere. Just enjoy the air. Enjoy the change of seasons. Live your life to the fullest. And of course, as always, may your heart be your guiding key. Till next time, I will see you later. Bye! And I should be way less tired and sleepy tomorrow because I at least will be sleeping in this time. So, thanks for watching.